it. And I mean, speaking of film, people, and original IP, we've been talking about this the entire time, and you teased it earlier. We're talking about our top five segment this week,
Yes.
which is top five A24 films. And both of our lists is when they made storytelling movies. That
Yes.
is for sure, which is an amazing thing. There's some on there on yours that I haven't watched yet, like specifically your number two. I still need to watch. I know that was an
Oh,
Oscar
oh,
winner. I
oh.
know, I know. But yeah, like so many good ones. And A24, like they know how to tell a story, man. No matter what, if it's out there or grounded, they know how to tell a story. That's for sure. I mean, yeah, there's some you just forget about, right? I was going through the list, I was like, oh yeah, that was an A24 film. Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
was an A24
yeah.
film.
And I think a lot of people think A24 just popped onto the scene recently, but they've been around for over 20 years, guys. They started
Hmm.
making movies way back. And when we were looking and doing our research for our lists, I'm like, huh? We didn't know. And then I go and look and I'm like, shit, that was A24. Like, I remember that movie. I had no idea. And you know why? Because at that point, you didn't know who A24 was.
Yeah.
So, of course, you don't remember. You don't associate that that's who made it, but there you go.
Yeah, man, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Well, starting off with my number five, it's probably the first A24 film I ever watched. And I'm talking about mid 90s, which I believe was Jonah Hill's feature debut. I don't know if he did short films or anything like that beforehand, but I think this is his feature debut. And the story is about this kid who comes across these older groups of kids, especially in the skateboarding community, and he wants to be a part of the guys, wants to be a part of the crew, and just that whole journey of being pubescent basically because he's younger than them. They're teenage kids. He's probably like 10, 11,
Yeah.
and he's just trying to fit in, trying to find his group, his clan, his people. But yeah, like he gets in trouble. He gains experiences, all these different things. And I think it's loosely based off of Jonah Hill's personal story. But what I love about it so much is my brother was super big into skateboarding when we were younger, specifically in his teenage years. And of course, me being 3 years younger, I wanted to do exactly what my brother was doing. So I started skateboarding. So it felt like that. There was a lot of personal connection to this film because of that connection. And I love this movie because like the storytelling and the actual filmmaking and the cinematography, I think they use Super 8 on some of the
Mm.
shots, which is super cool to see in a feature-length film. But yeah, it's one of those that you have to go watch at least one time for the one time. So yeah, my number five, mid 90s.
Oh, dude, love that. Love that. In fact, both of our lists I like because I feel like they're what we were talking about in our whole conversation about the industry. All of these movies that we put on our list, I think, are connectable.
Hmm.
People can connect to the movies because, like you were just saying, you know somebody that was living that, you were living that, you were kind of going through it, or it's something that's happening in the real world that we are dealing with. And that's what makes it work. And that's what my number five is. And yeah, this was the first A24 movie I watched and had no idea it was an A24 movie. All the way up until just today when I found out it was an A24 movie. But Ex Machina. Okay, why do I say what's the connectability? Well, this is happening in front of our eyes right now. AI, baby. Okay, this is a movie about a creator who has created this AI person, Ava, and she's beautiful, played by Alicia Vikander, who's beautiful, and he brings in somebody to observe this AI person. He wants to see how a real person interacts. Does he buy into? Does he think she's real? Is he getting emotional? Is he experiencing emotions with her? Is he like, just basically, is it real human interaction or is it failing to connect on that level? And it starts to get real creepy real fast because Ava, while she's the AI and it's brilliantly played. Nathan is Oscar Isaac, and it's like you know Oscar. He brings the A game every time. While he's supposed to be observing Ava, Ava is learning from Nathan and is starting to become she becomes the observer and starts to exhibit behavior based on Nathan that starts to cross lines and get a little creepy. I don't want to give too much away because it's one of those movies that makes you think and you really have to watch it and see. But it's creepy. Ex Machina, okay? Trust me, you want to watch this movie, especially with everything going on with AI right now and Japan making like actual AI girlfriends and boyfriends. It's just like, what? Ex Machina. Trust me, totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Great pick, man. Great pick. Well, my number 4 is probably the last story-driven film that we went to the theaters and it was a packed house. That it wasn't a Marvel film, wasn't a superhero film, wasn't like a big event style thing. And I'm talking about Uncut Gems, Adam Sandler. Man.
Yes.
Oh man, this thing is the whole time I'm like, do I like this movie? I can't tell because it's anxiety ridden, right? I mean, this is a jewelry seller who loves to gamble on anything and everything, and he gets himself involved with loan sharks, pawn pawn shops, all these things, and like he gets himself in so much freaking trouble. Like the one scene where he's at like his kid's recital and the fucking guys show up at the recital and put him in the trunk and like he's super calm about it. Like I think this may have been my first film that I've seen Adam Sandler play such a dramatic role. Punch Drunk Love is next on my list to watch of Adam Sandler. I heard that film and his performance was very beautiful. But this film in particular, I had never seen him do anything like this before. Obviously growing up with the classics from Happy Madison, but I love this film. Super like I don't know if it's rewatchable because it is so anxiety and it is so crazy. And I mean, there is a what the fuck at the end, and that's what you need. But yeah, it's so good, man. It's so good. Number 4 for me, Uncut Gems.
Yeah, dude. You could always kind of see hints of Adam Sandler's ability. Right? Yeah. Everybody was like, yes, I know he falls into the trap of, and you know, he basically makes the same movie over and over and over and just changes the name of the character. But if you pay attention closely to those movies, you can see it. So the turn to dramatic acting, you always kind of knew it was coming. And I think he knocks it out. In fact, I didn't like Happy Gilmore 2. It's unpopular opinion. I think he should now go back to comedy every now and then, but don't go back to those comedies, right? Just something original like the one we've got coming out now with the stand-up comedian.
George Clooney.
Yeah, and
I'm talking about that, but you're talking about Is This Thing On?
Is This Thing On?
Will Arnett and Bradley Cooper directing.
Do something like that where it's comedic but also dramatic, and stay in that lane because you're a really great dramatic actor. And I feel like if you're gonna go back to comedy, make it dramedy and find that lane, because I feel like you're getting a little too old to continue in with the Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore stuff. Just my opinion.
He should write stories for his daughters. His daughters are great actresses.
Yes.
And I mean, like, I think You're So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah, it went over very well. Obviously, we had Dylan Hoffman on the show, and that was a huge success for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he should write more movies comedy-wise for his daughters and have their input. I think that'd be beautiful.
His two daughters were in Happy Gilmore too. Oddly enough, one playing his daughter and one not playing his daughter, right? Which was but if you want to continue that lane, keep it in the family, but let them do those movies. They're of that age where those movies would work for them now, right? And then he can continue to spread. Okay, speaking of awesome movies and awesome actors who are now a bit older and doing different things, but this was a really good movie. This is exactly what I was talking about, dramedy. My number 4 is The Spectacular Now. Miles Teller, Shailene Woodley. Plenty of comedic moments. Plenty of fun stuff. You know, you got this guy who's just living life and he's working at a suit shop, loves what he does. He's like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm living my life. And gets drunk, ends up in the lawn of this nice girl next door, if you will, right? The perfect girl, the everybody wants to be her nice girl. She's not overly beautiful, which is ridiculous saying with Shailene Woodley, but she's, that girl. And what they find out is, because this is real life, y'all. This is real life. She has these bold visions of where she wants to be and what she wants to do, shooting for the future. And he's very settled. And so they learn from each other. They end up working together because the whole reason of the film, the spectacular now, he teaches her how to live for the moment, live now. And she teaches him how to live in the now, but don't forget where you're headed. Know that you're on a path, a journey. And that's how it works. And that's why I love this movie and I put it on my list, because I feel like so many of us in today's society are struggling with that. We're either living the spectacular now and forget all about the journey and where we're headed, or we're only focused on where we're heading and forgetting to live in the moment. And so I think that's why this film worked so well. I think it was perfect casting because these two actors are so spot on with being able to pull off that so well, and they had decent chemistry together. So yeah, my number 4, The Spectacular Now. And I highly recommend it because you should be living in the moment. You should be living your spectacular now, but have goals. Shoot for the future. It's okay.
That's right, man. That's right. I love that. A great explanation too. It's so good. Number 3 for me is probably the film that really made me learn Greta Lee's name. She was amazing on the morning show before this. She was on a couple of other things as well, but this really brought her like to the forefront, at least of my life of
Yeah.
filmmaking and
Yeah.
actors and actresses. I'm talking about A24's Past Lives, which was nominated for a couple of Oscars a couple years ago. And it's about an Asian woman, and I misplaced the home country that she was from, but she left at a very young age. But she had that young love, and I'm talking about like even before teenage years, when you're kids, you have young love
Oh
and
yeah,
like
always.
all and like she leaves, she comes to America, becomes Americanized, then goes back to her home country and sees that same person she fell in love with when she was a child, and like just about how that part of her life is different. It's kind of like the transitional period I'm going through in my life where you are basically the new version of yourself and you're never going to be that same person you were when you were younger.
Right.
So
Right.
I mean, it's such an amazing film, and it really makes you reflect on, was that person for me then and are they for me now? Because the dilemma was she was engaged to somebody completely different that she met over in America,
Yep.
but she found her first real love again when she went back and visited her home country. So it's a beautiful film. It's halfway subtitled because obviously the love interest is not American, so he's speaking in their native tongue, but it's a beautiful film and it makes you think about all the different things, the people who you did fall in love with at the very early stages of your life that may or may not still be in your life. And again, it's super beautiful. Like, it's one of those that's truly touching and makes you think about your own personal journey. So yeah, number 3 for me, Past Lives.
Dude, love everything about that and the explanation, because I feel like, that's where we're all at. And like there are parts of your past of who you were then that you want to desperately hold on to, that you have to realize you have to let go of. But
Yeah.
there are also critical parts of your past and who you were that are crucial for you to hold on to be the adult that you are now. And
Yep.
learning to navigate that transition about what do I let go and what do I keep and how do I integrate that. That's a difficult path, man. That's why life is such a fun journey, right? So I love that you put that on there. It's kind of plays into my next one too. My number 3, similar journey of grief and reconciliation. The Whale,
Mm.
which of course is, won Brendan Fraser the Oscar, relaunched him, basically reintroduced him to the world. And it's hard to watch. It's about an extremely obese man that is basically never leaves his house because he can't. He's basically given up on life and is literally trying to eat himself to death because of the grief that he has for the failed relationship with the mother of his daughter, the failed relationship with his daughter, the failed relationship with the love of his life. And just not living the life that he ever wanted. And so now he's trapped in his own body trying to literally eat himself away from all the grief and pain. But before he dies, and I think this is the critical part, he knows he's dying. He wants to reconnect with his daughter. Okay, it played brilliantly, by the way, by Sadie Sink. Oh my God. Just if you think she's great on Stranger Things or the other things you've seen her in, you need to see her in this film because she just knocks it out of the park. Just unbelievable as the daughter who hates him but loves him, right? Which, we've all had that, right? That relationship you hate but love. And then, but I think the one person that doesn't get enough credit that I thought should have just been winning awards left and right in this film is Hong Chow, who plays Liz. Her character was so intense and so in depth and so like you felt for me as much as I felt for Brendan the whale himself. I felt for her because she's the friend that was facilitating it. She was the one bringing him food, even though she knew she was killing him, but couldn't stand to see him sad or not. And just like, think about that. Think about the mindset of what you must be in when you're trying everything you can to save your friend while facilitating the death. I mean, talk about a mental just like, what are we watching right now? So yeah, this is like in my opinion, a really important look at life and how dangerous grief and which obviously leads to depression, but how one wrong turn in your life can spiral you out of control to this. And so I think it's a must watch in my opinion for everybody. If you are struggling with who you are and identity and think that you can't redeem yourself from a mistake you made in your life, I highly recommend you watch The Whale because you'll see that everybody's redeemable. Every mistake is overcome if you try, if you just let it go, move past it, and know that everybody's gonna make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And don't become a captive of yourself. Yeah, The Whale, number 3 for me. It's visually difficult to watch, but I will say just a beautiful film. A beautiful film.
It is great. I hate the ending though.
I hate the
Hate
ending.
the
I
end.
hate the ending, but
It's
yeah, I'm right there
what
with you. But it's
that's the
just
A24 shit. That's the
yeah,
A24
no,
preaching shit.
no,
Like,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. You get up, go, wait, that's it?
yeah,
That's the end? That can't be
yeah,
the end.
yeah,
And yet it was.
yeah. Like, anyway, you'll have to watch it to see what
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking about. You have to watch
Oh
it.
yeah, no, we can't blow it. We can't give the
No.
spoiler because if you blow the ending, you blow the whole film. So yeah,
Yeah,
like
exactly, exactly. Number 2 for me, I've talked about on this podcast at nauseum, and I apologize for bringing it back up, but it's so fucking awesome. Like, it's so good. Have you watched this one yet?
yeah, yeah.
Fantastic. All right, I'm talking about Warfare.
Oh yeah,
A24's Warfare. Man, oh man. Star studded cast, a group of amazing young up and comers that are literally taking over Hollywood right now. And what this film was telling a story about a mission to Iraq, I believe. And even one of the directors was a part of that mission in real life, which
yeah,
adds a whole extra real life layer to it. And so obviously he brought justice to the film. But what this film does is show you the life basically of what these soldiers go to and go through every single day. Well, not every single day because hopefully this wouldn't happen every day, but this does happen overseas where people are trying to be protected by the US troops and
yep.
obviously people don't want them there. And it just becomes a whole big shit show. But I love this film because sometimes I love to not watch trailers, not do any research on the film, and then just go see the film. And that was this film for me. I had some time to kill in between like school and then working an event that and I was like, I got some time. Let me go see this movie. It's not that long. It's like an hour and a half. And like I walked away with it just nonstop thinking about what I just watched. It's absolutely amazing. And there's really not enough I can say about it. Number two for me, Warfare. Check it out.
It is well, and because like you said, the director's literally a real
Yeah.
participant, right?
Hmm.
So the authenticity is there. It's coming from somebody who's lived it. And the storytelling, I felt like when I was watching it, I was living it. You felt it. You were in there. You were with them in this experience, which is why I think it works so. And by the way, I feel like that's what every war movie needs if it's going to hit at the box office, right? You need to feel like you're in the war. You need to feel like you're in the experience with them. Otherwise, it misses. That's why Saving Private Ryan was so good. That's why like so many of these huge war movies that we know work because you feel like you're living it. And I think it was brilliant the way they pulled it off. It was just I really like though that there was no fanfare, no flash, no glitz, no It's literally just raw filmmaking,
No
raw
backstory to any
storytelling.
of the
Yeah,
characters.
yeah.
Like you barely
It's
even know their names. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
which is the authenticity of when you go to war and then you're in this platoon with people you've never met them before in your life, and the only thing you know about them is what you're learning about them right there on the spot,
Yeah.
and yet they become brothers in arms. They become
Hmm.
your family. And that's exactly what this movie did. You don't know anything about these people except for what you're going through with them
Yeah.
in this movie, which it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. My number two, I can't believe you haven't seen it. Oh my gosh, it's so okay. My number two is by far, I think, Brie Larson's best performance ever. Hands down. Hands down. I'm talking about Room. And this is terrifying because this is, again, real life situation, real life things that are happening that on a daily basis. This story, if you're not familiar with it, is basically about this woman who gets kidnapped at a young age, teenager, gets kidnapped and is held captive by this man and repeatedly raped and sexually abused over and over and over for all these years. But she ends up getting pregnant and giving birth to her captor's kid. And at that point, you forget you're a captive. You forget all the trauma, all the pain, all the stuff that you're a mom now. You're responsible for this kid. And the whole dynamic of how they explain this life that they live and where Room comes from is it's what she designates this 10 by 10 area space that they are captive in. And she affectionately calls it Room. And so her son Jack is little Jacob Tremblay, who's not so little anymore, but it's little Jacob Tremblay, played phenomenally, just beautiful. Think about this though, okay? And this is why this film is so captivating, why I was so fascinated by it. The only life that this kid has ever known is that room. He's never seen anything outside the room. Doesn't know what the sky actually looks like. Doesn't know grass. Doesn't know smells. Doesn't know any. And they basically, it's so beautiful. They have moments where they're like coloring and like she's explaining why the sky is blue or what it looks like or trying to explain smell of things to. And it's like, because he's never been out of this room. He's also, this really powerful moment where the guy comes in to rape her again and she makes him hide in the closet and be quiet while this is happening to her. And so this young kid doesn't understand anything about what's happening. Why is this going on? Who is this guy? Why is he hurting mom? Kind of a thing. And it gets to the point where she realizes she basically has to get him out. She has to get him out. And so she takes the risk to try to escape. The problem with that is, like most captives, and especially if you're born into captivity, it's kind of like animals trying to reacclimate into the wild. He doesn't function. He doesn't know how to be in the real world. All he's ever known is that room. So his transition into the real world and trying to navigate becoming an adult isn't working. It's terrifying. And think about a mom whose whole time was desperate to try to get him out and have a life, to see him cave and not be able to handle life. And so, yeah, I can't emphasize enough how beautiful this story is, this love story between a mother and a child, and what that relationship is and what you would do, and then the pain of seeing the failure of not being able to, and I'm not going to say whether he eventually acclimates into life as an adult, or I'm not going to say, but it's just really, really powerful. And I thought the performances and Jacob Tremblay got nominated, right? She did not. I'm like, the entire movie is literally the two of them in a room interacting with each other. How does the kid get nominated and she doesn't? That's one of those confounding things. And when you watch it, I think you'll think the same thing. Be like, what?
I thought she did. I thought she won Best Actress.
Or was it? Was it maybe she did, and maybe it's Jacob who didn't? I'm like, yeah. I don't understand though. It's one of those. Yeah, I think you're right. And he didn't. And it's one of those confounding situations. It's like one can't exist without the other. So, yeah. Her performance doesn't live without his performance, and vice versa. So I think you're right. I think I was. It's so long. I literally have only seen it once when I initially watched it.
Well, I mean, it definitely, yeah, with that hardcore value, yeah, that's hard to watch. 2016 winner, Best Performance by an Actress.
Yeah, so so the mind-blowing thing was, how did he not win?
Yeah.
And it's like he should have been a shoe-in with her, because it just doesn't make sense and when you watch it. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It's, again, like The Whale, it's very difficult to watch, but it is a stark reality of what's happening in life right now, sadly. And just dealing with mental health and all the trauma and all the, it's a beautiful film. Room.
So good. Well, both of our number ones is a film that reflects society. It's very much a mirror of the potential of what could happen, and it's scary because it feels like it could be more and more like this every single day, especially in the situation we're in right now with a government shutdown and things like that. It's honestly probably one of my favorite films. Like, if we do another top 5 of our all-time favorite films, it's probably on that list. And I'm talking about Civil War.
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst, Jesse Plemons, and so many other people in this film. Civil War is obviously the story of basically California and Texas seceding from the United States, and basically starting, if everybody's ever seen Red Dawn, their own revolution type thing, where, they're trying to attack the president and overthrow the government and all of these different things. And it's told through the lens of journalists, and specifically photojournalists. And Kirsten Dunst is so amazing in this film. Like, how this film did not get nominated for anything, or even, like, there was no campaign, there was nothing. I don't know why that didn't happen, but it's crazy. It's an amazing film, and I'll go on record and say it. I think it's pretty damn close to a perfect film, in my opinion. That's where my tastes are. That's my type of storytelling. I consider it a perfect film. It's a 5 out of 5 in my opinion, but I absolutely loved everything about it. I love the gore. I love the reality. I love there's no band-aids, okay? It's raw. It's emotional. It makes you think. It's, like I said, it's one of my favorite of all time. Well, I mean, what do you think about it?
Well, yeah, it's my number one also, and I think that the why this film works the way you just said, it's real. There's no, sometimes I think films try to be real and they put stuff in that shock value. They do it simply to shock you, simply to, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. This film doesn't have shock value. It's just real. There's shocking things. We see a hanging. We see somebody executed. We see these things that are shocking, but it's not shock value shots. It's the reality of, this is how it goes down. This is the reality of what life is in this current state. And For me, that's why it works. And it's being told visually in such a way where, again, you feel like you're on this journey with them trying to get to the White House. And it's so powerfully emotional. I mean, and it's clear. Is it political? Fuck yes, it's political. It's supposed to be political. This film was meant to start a conversation where we are in this country so radically divided between MAGA and the progressive liberals. And this is where we, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinions, are headed. Succession is real. I feel like look at Texas, look at some of these states that are MAGA based, trying to act like the rest of the country doesn't exist. It's terrifying, and I think if it just works on so. And there's this one scene, and I cannot stress enough. The acting, because if you guys aren't familiar, Jesse Plemons, like, they're married, right? And so the scene between the two of them is nasty. It is hard. It is fierce. It is ugly. And it is raw. And to know that they're a married couple in real life, that scene alone screams Oscar. It shows the dominance of a performance and taking something from a page to reality. You believe they fucking hate each other. You believe that dynamic. It's, oh my gosh. Yeah, it is raw storytelling. And kind of like what I said about Warfare. It is raw, clean storytelling at its max. From the direction to the acting to the visuals to the pacing to the sound. Oh my gosh, the sound in this film. Just like, so it's just... The colors, you feel it. The color palette switches throughout the film depending on what they're going through, and it's really just powerful. I can't say enough about this. Civil War, and it should wake you up. It should terrify you, and you should get angry when you watch it. You should be talking about it. Like, this is a film that if you don't walk out watching it and talk about it, you're missing the point of the film, in my opinion. That it's just, I don't think there was any other intention from the filmmakers of this film other than to start a conversation, and it does it brilliantly. Civil War, man. Civil War.
Completely agree. Alex Garland is probably one of my favorite writer, producer, directors that's out right now. I mean, for example, he did Your Ex Machina, he did Civil War, he did Warfare, he wrote 28 Years Later. Like, this dude is freaking phenomenal.
He's brilliant at reality, authenticity. He was so ahead of the game with Ex Machina because of the AI and what was coming. You watch that film and see how long ago that film was, and you're like, fuck, we're literally living that right now. And he wrote a film about that like ages ago, and it's just, it's amazing to me how ahead of the game he is and how in touch with the real world he is in his storytelling. It's fantastic. And he definitely nails that with every film you just listed, but especially Civil War. Like, he's basically saying, wake the fuck up, because this is coming. If you've watched any of my old films, you saw I'm pretty good at predicting. I'm telling you, this shit is coming. And it's kind of like a warning on film. I can't describe it any other way. Man.
It's so good. But we want to know, and I'm sure we'll get a lot more millennials than Gen X from your generation, that's for sure. Maybe more on the film side, Yeah. We want to know, what are your favorite A24 films, or your favorite overall A24 film? Please let us know down in the comment section down below. Add us on X, Threads, Instagram, all the good places. We love the fan interaction. This should be a good one. That should be a good one.